Picture this, you live outside the state and own a home in the Phoenix metropolitan area, and while you're away, someone breaks in and starts living there, enjoying the fruits of your labor. You find out, you go to remove them, and here's the part that might just irritate you. You can't just call the police and have them removed like any other trespasser. Legally, you may have to treat them almost like a tenant, which means file paperwork, go to court, wait for a judge, wait for a constable, even though this person never signed a lease, never paid you $1, and never had any right to be there in the first place. This is happening right now all over Arizona. Now give me a few minutes and I'll show you a real case, explain exactly why the law used to work against homeowners, what's changing this year, and what you can do to protect yourself. Now, quick note before we start, I'm a real estate agent, not an attorney. Everything here is general information, not legal advice for your specific situation. If you're ever dealing with a squatter, talk to a real estate attorney and your local police or constable's office. So here's a real example. A woman named DeAndrea Turner and her husband Keith had lived in their Arizona home for more than 12 years. It wasn't a rental, it was their family home. DeAndrea was traveling back and forth to take care of her elderly mother and recovering herself from a serious surgery. Keith was on the road as a long-haul trucker. Well, the house sat empty, people moved in. When the Turners found out and tried to get them out, the squatters just kept coming back. This case was reported by the Arizona Capital Times earlier this year, and it's part of the reason why Arizona lawmakers finally stepped in. And here's the part that almost nobody understands until it happens to them. There's a real legal difference between a trespasser and a squatter, and it matters enormously. A trespasser is someone who, with no connection to the property, who leaves the moment you tell them to, or the moment the police show up. If they don't leave, the police can usually arrest them on the spot. Squatter is different. The moment someone inside your house claims they live there, even with zero proof, even with nothing but their word, police in this situation will not remove them. It becomes a civil matter instead of a criminal one. And a civil matter means you don't just get to kick them out. You have to go to court and prove your case using basically the same legal process a landlord uses to evict a bad tenant. Think about that and how backward it is. This person never signed a lease, never paid you a dime, never had your permission to set foot on the property, and the law still made you treat them like a tenant with rights just to get your own home back. Here's what that actually looked like before this year. You had to give a 5-day notice to vacate, then file a formal complaint in court, then wait for a hearing date, then show up and prove to a judge that whatever story or paperwork the squatter is waving around doesn't hold up. Then wait for the judge to sign the writ. Then wait again for a constable to actually show up and remove them. 2 weeks minimum. That is if everything moves quickly, often much longer. And if every single day of that they're still inside your house and God knows what kind of sick, demented nonsense, not to mention probable damage to the property. Arizona just changed this. Governor Hobbs signed Senate Bill 1426 into law recently, and it takes effect in approximately 90 days, which really puts it at the end of August. Under the new law, once a judge rules in your favor, the court has to issue that writ of restitution immediately. No extra waiting period tacked on. A constable interviewed about under 5 days instead of 2 weeks or more. Here's a little detail that matters most for you specifically. This law does not touch actual landlord-tenant relationships. If you rent out property, Arizona's normal landlord-tenant laws still apply to your tenants, exactly like before. This law is specifically about people who were never your tenant at all. No lease, no agreement, no relationship with you whatsoever. Just someone who let themselves into the house that wasn't being watched. And that's exactly why this matters more if you're not living in the property full time. Squatters don't pick homes at random. They pick the ones where nobody's checking. No neighbor notices a different car in the driveway. Nobody's collecting the mail. Nobody notices the grass hasn't been cut in weeks. If you own a second home or investment property here that you aren't at physically on a regular basis, you are exactly who this bill was built to protect, and exactly who used to have the least protection under the old law. So here's what I actually want you to do about it. First, have a real person physically check on the property on the schedule. Not an app, not a camera feed or you never look at, an actual person walking the property. Second, keep the utilities active and keep an eye on the usage. A property with no water and no power running looks abandoned, and abandoned is exactly what gets targeted. Third, put up real visible signs that someone is paying attention. Cameras, an alarm system, landscaping that's actually maintained. All of that is a deterrent before you ever need the legal process at all. Fourth, have a local point of contact who can move fast the moment something looks wrong. Someone who will notice on day 1, not day 30. And fifth, know this law exists before you ever need it. Know who you need to call, a real estate attorney, a constable's office, an agent like me, so you're never scrambling to figure out the process in the moment it actually matters. You don't have to live in fear over this, but you do have to pay attention, because a property nobody's watching is exactly the kind of property this happens to. Thanks for watching. As always, if you want to know what your home is really worth, go to azabsenteeequity.com. I am Matt Borkowski, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.